Alright, what's going on guys? Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Andy. Today we're going to be looking at Amazon Glacier. So, if you guys don't know what Amazon Glacier is, just a high-level overview is it's a archival solution that AWS offers for files that you have in your project. So if you guys are familiar with S3, Amazon S3 buckets and how they work, then this should be a very familiar concept, because this is the exact same structure as an S3 bucket, but there are major differences in use cases where you would use one over the other. Otherwise, like why would they be separate things, right? So if you guys don't have a good introduction to S3 buckets, you guys can also watch my other video. I'll put a link in the description where I talk about S3 buckets. But for this video, let's go into Amazon Glacier. So first, since the natural comparison is between Glacier and S3, I'm gonna compare those first. So first of all, Amazon Glacier, it's a lot cheaper than S3. So it's actually like a fraction of the cost, and I'll show you guys really quick page here. And as you see here, if we go into the pricing section for Glacier, the price is 0.004 gigabytes per month. Over here, it's the same thing for Amazon S3 pricing. As you see here, for the first 50 terabytes, which it's a sizable amount of data, it's 0.023 dollars per month. So per gigabyte. Why would you ever use S3? Well, the Glacier is actually more for archiving. It's more of an archival solution. It's not meant for retrieving real time or even close to real time, really. So to continue with the comparison, S3 we have these things called buckets. Glacier, we have these things called vaults, and they're not that different. I mean, they're the same thing. It's a vault is a container that holds archives, and archives are files, and the file is just data and its metadata. So same concept with S3 buckets and its objects. So the S3 console, you can actually interact and upload files to it, but in Glacier, you're actually not allowed to upload any files. You're only able to create vaults inside the console. So the only way to like add data to an Amazon Glacier vault or retrieve data is it has to be programmatically. So either through the command line interface, a third-party application, or it would have to be through a REST API, like inside your code. So later, I'll show you guys how to interact with it using the command line. I do have a free AWS account. Before that, I just want to say that since Amazon S3 Glacier, it is for long term, and most of the time for compliance reasons, you're not going to be able to grab the data as soon as you need it. The fastest they can do is 1 to 5 minutes, and that's expedited. And actually, if you go to pricing, they tell you, like, depending on what speed you get the data, the price changes. So like retrieval prices here, right? If you guys see here, so if we have expedited, it's more expensive. If it's standard, or it's cheaper, and then bulk, obviously it's even more cheaper. But there's like a time limit on these, right? So like expedited, you'll get it within 1 to 5 minutes. Standard, you will get it between 3 to 4 hours, and bulk, it's going to be 10 plus hours, like 12 to 15 hours. But it's obviously the cheapest option. And a lot of times, if you work at a startup, or if you work at any type of company, right, there's going to be regulations from the government. So like, especially within like the health and like health sector or the finance sector, they're always going to have some compliance regulations of, hey, like you can't delete that file. So if you have like customer data, right, relating to their health or relating to a financial transaction, government might come in and say, hey, this data, you shouldn't delete it. But then, like if you're running a startup and your money and you're really cautious about your spending, you might be thinking, well, like I can't just store in my database. Database is expensive, like if you guys work with Amazon RDS or like a database in the cloud, like it's pretty expensive. Having a solution like Glacier where the data is going to be there, but like it's going to take longer to get. But the upside is that it's a lot cheaper and more practical. So let's say if the data that you need to store is like someone's birth certificate, or like if it's someone's like the time that they got their dental cleaning, right? Like you want to store that data, but like you're not going to need it all the time. Like you might need it like once in a while if someone like calls in, or if someone does like if the government comes and does like an audit. So all this data, you don't need it all the time to do business, but you might need it once in a while. So you want it to be there still. So this is the perfect solution that Glacier is here for. Another thing is that you guys might already have an archival solution already, but actually Amazon S3, right? There's lifecycle functions to it. You can create lifecycle rules. So yeah, Amazon S3, it lets you create lifecycle rules and lifecycle policies. So maybe you can create like a policy like after X amount of days, move it to Glacier. And that's a very seamless integration that you don't have to do inside your code, or like you don't have to manually do. So like if you have like an archival solution already for your project, your business, your enterprise, you might still consider using Glacier, especially if you're already using S3, right? Because like these lifecycle methods, they integrate really well with each other, since it's all offered within the AWS suite. So I'm going to show you guys how to create vaults and also upload files using the Amazon command line interface. So one prerequisite is that you have to have an IAM user in AWS, and also you have to download the Amazon AWS command line and log in with that IAM user credentials. So I have all that set up already. If you guys are not sure how to do that, I can make a separate video on it, but it's a pretty straightforward process. You can follow just follow the guide here, how to configure your AWS command line, and if you scroll down, it'll tell you how to create an access key for an IAM user that you can use to log in. Okay, so after that's out of the way, as we see here, there is nothing on this vault. So first, I am going to go to command line and create a vault. So I actually put all the commands that I'm going to use in a notepad, so that I don't have to type it from scratch. So basically, the command is AWS Glacier create dash vault, and then the name of the vault you want, and then dash account ID, and then you pass in the account ID of the owner. So as you see here, this is my account ID. I grabbed it from here. So let's create this vault. Looks like I have a configuration issue. Okay guys, so there was a little bit of trouble with the configurations earlier, and I had to go quickly and update it. But now we see that if we do AWS create vault command with this account ID, we should have a vault created in this location. And this, I already went ahead and refreshed this, but as you see here, we didn't have one before, and after running the command, we have this vault set. So this is the command to upload a file. I am in my desktop directory on my CLI, and desktop directory, I should have a file called Resume.pdf. So here I'm going to upload to this vault this file, my resume. So after this, we should have a location, and if we refresh here on the console. Okay guys, funny thing. So at first, when I uploaded the file that I showed you guys, and I went to the console to check if the files got uploaded, and this number of archive kept showing 0. And I even try to check in the command line console, like number of archives, it's showing 2 now, but it was 0. And I could not for the life of me figure out why it was not uploading to Glacier. But then I realized that this is not Amazon S3, it's Glacier. It takes a while, it takes a few hours. I told you guys it's gonna take a few hours when I was describing it earlier, but like for some reason I expected it to come on real time. So for the life of me, I was like just Googling, searching, figuring out why the number wouldn't show up, but turns out after a few hours, here it is. So the file that I uploaded earlier with the Resume.pdf, so it's here. Amazon Glacier, again, very cool thing. If you guys have any compliance requirements that you need to store and archive attachments, and it integrates really well with S3. So thanks for checking out this video, and yeah, take care. See you guys next time. Peace out.